And on the news today, OISEC and NSCDC strengthen partnership ahead of Oyo local government polls. On the foreign scene, Rwanda tightens border controls over Ebola outbreak. Russia, China sign over 20 cooperation agreements. And in sport, Arsenal crowned champions as Man City drop points against Bournemouth. We're glad to have you join us. This is the news update at 12 on Dominion Television, Ibadan. I am Anoluwapo Idowu. The Oyo State Independent Electoral Commission, OISEC, and the Nigeria Civil Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, have renewed their commitment to ensuring peaceful and credible local government elections in the state. OISEC Chairman Afeez Adeniyi made this known during a visit to the NSCDC headquarters in Ibadan. He assured residents that preparations were underway for a free, fair and hitch-free election scheduled for December 29, 2026 across the state's 33 local government areas. In response, Oyo State NSCDC Commandant Augustine Pardonu pledged the Corps' continued support, especially in election security and protection of sensitive materials. Oyo State Road Traffic Management Authority (OYRTMA) has launched the OITMA Youth Volunteers Program to promote road safety, behavioral change, and youth participation in governance across Oyo State. Representing Governor Seyi Makinde at the inauguration, Permanent Secretary, General Administration Bode Ladipo said the initiative was introduced in response to rising road accidents, traffic congestion, and poor attitudes among motorists and road users. Also speaking, OITMA Chairman Adesagba Dekoya said 100 youth had been inaugurated as pioneer volunteers to serve as ambassadors for responsible road use and safety advocacy across the state. Meanwhile, Chairman of the Oyo State Rule of Law Agency, Aderonke Aderemi, urged the volunteers to remain disciplined, punctual, and avoid corruption while carrying out their responsibilities. The Olubadan of Ibadan land, Oba Rashidi Ladoja, has ordered the halt to the planned demolition of about 200 houses at Isokon Estate Extension in the Lebu area of Ibadan. According to a statement by his media aide, the directive followed meetings with affected residents over a land dispute in the community. The monarch said the demolition plan was linked to a court judgment reportedly claimed by an individual seeking to reclaim the land. Oba Ladoja directed that no house should be demolished pending further clarification and asked residents whose rooftops were removed to restore them. The Defense Headquarters (DHQ) announced that no fewer than 175 ISIS terrorists have been killed in the latest onslaught against insurgents. In a statement by the Director of Defense Information, Major General Samala Uba, the Military High Command said the coordinated operations, which commenced a few days ago, have continued to record significant successes against Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, ISIS, and Islamic State West Africa Province ISWAP elements operating in the region. The statement also noted that the operations had led to the destruction of terrorist checkpoints, weapons caches, logistics hubs, military equipment, and financial networks used to sustain insurgent activities. Similarly, the Nigerian Air Force (NAF) has intensified its operations against terrorist groups in Adamawa and Borno State, carrying out coordinated airstrikes on suspected terrorist strongholds in the southern Tumbans and Mandara Mountains in the northeast. In a statement issued by the Director of Public Relations and Information, Air Commodore Eimen Ejudame, the force said several terrorists were neutralized under the air component of Operation Hadinkai during the operation, while planned attacks were disrupted. Speaking on the operation, the Chief of Air Staff, Sunday Calvin Aneke, reaffirmed the Nigerian Air Force's commitment to sustaining joint military operations aimed at restoring peace across the country. The Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria (FAN) has assured the traveling public and stakeholders that preventive measures have been put in place across all international airports in response to the recent Ebola virus disease situation in parts of Central Africa. FAN Director of Public Affairs and Consumer Protection, Henry Adbebire, in a statement said it's collaborating with Port Health Services and Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention and other relevant agencies to strengthen passenger surveillance and monitoring. FAN urged passengers to remain calm, comply with health screening procedures, and report any symptoms to health officials. And on the foreign scene, Rwandan authorities have intensified health screenings and tightened border controls with the Democratic Republic of Congo following a deadly Ebola outbreak linked to the Bundibugyo strain. Health officials say at least 131 people have died, while more than 500 suspected cases have been recorded in eastern Congo. The outbreak has prompted the World Health Organization to declare an international public health emergency. At border crossings near Goma, travelers entering Rwanda are undergoing temperature checks and health screenings as authorities work to prevent further spread. Russian President Vladimir Putin and Chinese President Xi Jinping have renewed plans for a natural gas pipeline linking both countries. The development follows talks in Beijing where the two leaders signed more than 20 agreements covering trade, technology, and global cooperation. Both countries reached a general understanding on the long-delayed pipeline project, although no timeline or further details were announced. Putin and Xi are also expected to discuss geopolitical issues, including Ukraine, Iran, and relations with the United States. And now talking sports, Arsenal have been crowned Premier League champions for the first time in 22 years after Manchester City were held to a draw by Bournemouth. The title triumph marks Arsenal's fourth league crown since the era of Arsene Wenger and the famous Invincible season. Celebrations erupted among supporters, with players and fans gathering around the Emirates Stadium into the early hours of the morning. Elsewhere, the relegation battle involving Tottenham Hotspur will go down to the final game of the season after the defeat to Chelsea FC. West Ham United FC could still send Spurs down if they secure a victory, while Tottenham suffers another defeat. You can visit our website on www.dominion.org.ng to watch us live and interact with us. You can also follow us across our social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and LinkedIn at Dominion Broadcast, and X at Dominion Cast. And that ends the news update on Dominion Television. I am Anu Oluwapo Ido. Thank you for watching.